love it! Hello, I'm Adam Pacitti and welcome to the Serious Wrestling News. Let's take a look at the headlines. NXT Stars are reportedly appearing on this week's SmackDown. A new potential SummerSlam location has been revealed, and Impact Wrestling have announced a 2-week special. We'll give you all the details. So, we are kicking things off with the news that 2 NXT stars were requested for yesterday's SmackDown tapings. Now, WWE, of course, are taping 2 lots of shows in one day at the moment. They're saving a bloody fortune doing it. And so one will air on Friday, and then the other will air on next Friday. Yeah. So, the 2 names, it's an odd combination, I won't lie. First of all, Danny Burch. Okay, so you're probably thinking, oh, wow, only Lorcan and Danny Burch are getting called up. No. The other's Killian Dane. So, this comes from Fightful. And they reported that those 2 names were set for yesterday's SmackDown tapings. And they also noted that their appearances may be in conjunction with the storyline with King Corbin and Shorty G. Or as I've redubbed him, Naughty G, because he's a heel now. I have no idea where they fit in there at all. Like, my mind immediately jumped to, okay, Raw is getting a new faction, the bad boys and girl, I think, who are Molotov cocktailing the generator, and they're being all troublesome with that. Maybe SmackDown's getting one of those, and it's going to be like, I don't know, King's Court. Corbin and his jester and his prince, I don't know how it works. So Corbin would head up, and then Gable's on there, and then Killian Dane and Danny Burch. I don't know, but maybe it's just a tag match. Maybe they needed a pair of people to get beat, and availability isn't great at the moment, and so they've gone with Dane and Burch. So it'll be Gable and Corbin versus those 2. But you would think, like, only Lorcan has been working 205 Live. Why wouldn't you just do Burch and Lorcan if that was the case? So, Killian Dane, obviously, is no stranger to SmackDown. Called up and Sanity, and that didn't last very long at all. And then he went back down to NXT and was, oh, brilliant. He did stuff with Riddle. That was really cool. And then his appearances have been sporadic, to say the least. From memory, the last times that we've seen him, he had the match with Dexter Lumis, which he lost. And then a match with Damian Priest, I think a month before it, and he lost that one as well. But he sometimes pops up, he sometimes doesn't. Danny Burch still kicking about on 205 Live. He's been in a couple of decent six-man lately, alongside Oney Lorcan and various people. I think Swerve Scott was one of them. Anyway, they're both still active and doing stuff, but who knows if this is going to be a permanent draft. Who knows if they... Well, who knows? Who knows? There is also noted, I should point out, that yesterday's tapings were a bit of a mess again, and plans were changed. So, first of all, if you don't see them on this week's Friday Night SmackDown, you might see them next week. But also, with all of these plans changing, it's noted that something might have been scrapped as well. So who knows if we'll see them? Who knows if we'll get the King's Court stable that we've all been asking for so bloody long? What the hell is that? Corbin and Gable Next story. The biggest party of the summer is fast approaching. SummerSlam is mere weeks away now, and it's been reported all over the shop that Vince and co are desperate to hold this anywhere but the Performance Center. We've had reports of the beach, bash at the beach. We've had a boat, bash at the boat, and now we've got a bloody city. Who'd have thunk it? And this comes courtesy of Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, and he noted that SummerSlam, the current plans are, or one of the current plans is now for it to be held in New Jersey, Atlantic City. Oh, so I don't really know much about Atlantic City. I've never been. I do know that Ocean's 11 was filmed there, and Ocean's 12. Probably 13, I don't know. Was there a 13? There was a 13. So I did a bit of research here because I like to think that you take something away from these news videos, which is more than wrestling news. I like to think that you learn something that you can apply down the road in life generally, I guess, in pub quizzes. So the properties in the popular board game Monopoly were named after Atlantic City streets. The Boardwalk Hall organ has over 33,000 pipes. The first casino in Atlantic City opened in just 1978. And Absecon Lighthouse is the tallest lighthouse in New Jersey. So, yeah, there you go. We do have a few more details, by the way, before I stop thinking about. Right. Meltzer said that McMahon really wants fans in attendance. However, state mandates might make that a little bit difficult. So, if it was indoors, the attendance would be limited to a maximum of 25 people. That's just been dropped from 100 due to increasing cases of COVID-19, so only 25 people, but you've got to believe that Vince doesn't want this indoors, he wants it outdoors, which means that 500 people could attend. They need to be socially distanced, that's part of the mandate, but it's a decent sized crowd, isn't it? I mean, how many have you got in the Performance Center crowd at the moment? Like 40, 50 maybe? They're coming for me again. So that's significantly more, and 500 people is enough to give a pretty decent atmosphere. It could be good. So we'll keep you updated on it. Nobody knows what the hell is happening. WWE haven't formally announced a location at the moment. Reports obviously circulated that the plan was to do it in the Performance Center, but Vince is desperate to do this. It must be a logistical nightmare. So saying a prayer for everybody working in logistics at WWE right now, because that can't be a fun job at the best of times, especially with that nutter breathing down your neck. Let's move on again. Next up, Impact Wrestling have announced a 2-week special taking place in place of the regular Impact weekly show, and it's called Emergence. Ooh, I like it. Emergence is taking place on August the 18th and August the 25th, when I guess a few more eyes will be on wrestling as a whole, because that's the surrounding SummerSlam there. We've got a few matches formally announced, as well as a few that are being built to at the moment. So the first match, and this is the Night 2 headliner, taking place on the 25th, will be Deonna Purrazzo defending her Knockouts Championship against Jordynne Grace, a rematch from Slammiversary, which was a really, really good match. I'm well up for seeing it again. Definitely a worthy main event there. The second match is for the tag team titles, the Motor City Machine Guns, defending their newly won titles against the North, fresh off their record-setting reign with the gold. Another rematch there. Should be great as well. Should be good. I'm buzzing still to see Motor City Machine Guns back together. It's so good to hear that they're properly back in Impact, and yeah, they've still got it. Let's just say that much. There's a few others that, as I mentioned, look like they're being built to at the moment. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus the Good Brothers. You can probably expect to see that on one of the nights of Emergence. Moose versus EC3 for the TNA title. You can expect to see that probably. Again, these aren't formally announced or anything, but it's not unlikely. And it looks like Impact are also building to Eddie Edwards versus Eric Young for Eddie Edwards' newly won Impact World Championship. So all good stuff there. I'm enjoying these little these special weekly shows that we've been getting. Of the two-nighters, obviously we had Fyter Fest and we had Great American Bash, and NXT are reported to be doing some more themed weekly shows, as well as obviously we had Fight for the Fallen as well over there, and yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's nice. I think they make them feel a little bit special, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Speaking of Impact, they've made a new full-time signing. She has been popping up on Impact TV lately. She was at Slammiversary as well, but Kimber Lee has officially signed a contract with Impact Wrestling, as first reported by the Hype magazine, which I can only assume is owned by Mojo Rawley. Kimber Lee has signed a long-term contract with Impact Wrestling. Lee makes an incredible addition to an already stacked roster, proving why Impact Wrestling's Knockout division is the greatest women's division in professional wrestling today. So it's first reported in the Hype magazine, and then that is a direct quote from Impact themselves. So she made her debut early May, and yeah, she's great. She's really great, hard hitting, quite a unique style of offense to her. And I was very, very confused when she left NXT, when she was let go by WWE there, because I think she shows like a huge amount of potential and feels, as I say, very different to the rest of the roster. So we wish her the greatest success in Impact Wrestling, who are very much on the up right now. And finally, Shane McMahon is a draw. that's the basis of this last story, because it's time to take a quick look at the Raw ratings. So the ratings are in. Before the show, WWE announced a few bits, one being the return of Shane McMahon, the other being the debut of a new faction, which Tom's going to tell you a little bit more about in the other news video today. But how did it affect the ratings? Well, it's a good week. It's a good week for WWE. So this week's episode of Raw brought in 1,715,000 overnight viewers, which is up from last week's 1,617,000 overnight viewers. So an increase of, quick math, 98,000 viewers there. So not too shabby at all. We'll do you a quick hourly breakdown now. Hour 1, which had the US title match, Kevin Owens show was on there, did 1.7 million. Hour 2, which had the Orton and McIntyre promo, Sasha versus Shayna, that had 1.8 million, so a nice increase there. Sasha bringing in them views again. And Hour 3 had the Seth Dominic stuff and some more of the Raw Underground bits, 1.6 million. So we always see a decline in the third hour, but that's a less significant decline than we have been seeing in previous weeks. So it's down there, just over 200,000, which sounds bad, but actually for a third hour, that's not that significant a drop. So there you go. I know you love the bloody ratings news. Before I go, Owen, who you may not be familiar with, he's one of our lovely editors here. He normally streams on Twitch alongside Jack the Job on a Wednesday evening, but obviously Jack is on annual leave this week, so Owen is solo streaming for the first time ever. So do head over to twitch.tv/Cultaholic. It's 6 PM BST. He's playing Foosball Manager, and he's terrified. He's been crying all morning. He's in bits right now because he thinks that people are going to be nasty to him and call him horrible names. I'm only saying that because he's editing this video. So go and watch Owen, and follow the Twitch channel. Pluggity plug plug plug. I'm done. Have a nice day. I will see you in a bit.